Have you ever felt like you've given everything to your job, only to find that it's never enough? Your body's exhausted, your mind's burnt out, and yet you still push forward, hoping that one day it will all pay off. But what if I told you that all this time the real investment you needed to make wasn't in your work, but in yourself? You've been chasing approval, recognition, and success for so long that you've forgotten the most important thing, the relationship you have with your own life. You've been sacrificing your well-being, your happiness, and your potential, all in the name of something that might not even be worth it. But it's not too late to turn it around. You've spent your life trying to prove yourself, haven't you? You've worked hard, sacrificed so much, and given more than you thought possible. But still, there's a feeling that lingers, like you're never quite enough. No matter how many accomplishments you stack up, no matter how many people give you compliments, there's always this gnawing feeling inside you. It's a quiet whisper at first, but it grows louder over time. It says, you're not good enough. You haven't done enough. You need to do more. And so you push harder. You try harder. You keep fighting for something that seems just out of reach. We live in a world that tells us our worth is measured by what we achieve, what we own, and what others think of us. We are constantly told that our success is defined by the number of likes we get, the amount of money in our bank accounts, or how high we climb in our careers. And for so long, we've bought into that. We've internalized the idea that who we are, our value is tied to the validation we receive from the outside world. But what if all of this is a lie? What if the truth is that you've been chasing something that isn't even real? What if the worth you've been searching for, the validation you've been desperately seeking, has always been inside of you? What if it's never been about the opinions or the approval of others, but about reconnecting to the person you've always been, the one who is worthy all along? You've probably never questioned this. You've always been too busy doing, achieving, striving, running on that treadmill of external validation. It's like a hamster wheel, spinning endlessly, and you keep pushing forward because that's what you're supposed to do. You see others doing it. You see the Instagram highlights, the success stories, the social media accolades, and you think to yourself, that's the dream. That's where I need to be. That's the validation I need. But what happens when you've climbed that ladder, when you've crossed every milestone and reached what was once out of your reach? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel happy, peaceful, proud? Or do you feel more empty than before, more disconnected, more lost than you ever imagined? You see, the problem with external validation is that it's like a drug. It gives you a quick high, but it never lasts. The moment you get praise, the moment you hit that milestone, you start to wonder, is this it? Is this all there is? And that hunger grows. It doesn't get satisfied. It just keeps feeding you this lie that you need more. More recognition, more praise, more accomplishments, more everything, just to feel like you're enough. But that's not the way to real fulfillment. It's not the way to true peace. You've been taught to seek external validation because it's easy. It's instant. It's visible. It's what everyone else is doing. But it's a trap. And the longer you stay in it, the more you lose touch with who you really are, who you've always been underneath all the titles, the achievements, and the outside noise. There's a freedom that comes when you stop seeking approval from the world. When you let go of the need for constant validation, when you stop letting the opinions of others dictate your worth, you reclaim your life. You take back your power. You stop chasing something that will always elude you and start embracing the truth that you are enough, just as you are. I know this is hard to believe. I know because I've been there. I've fought that fight, tried to climb that mountain, thinking that once I reached the top, everything would make sense. But all I found was more pressure, more demands, more chasing. It wasn't until I stopped and looked inward that I realized how much I had been running for myself. I had been running toward an illusion, chasing something that would never give me peace. It's time for you to stop chasing. It's time to stop looking outside for something that you can only find within. The real validation, the one that lasts, is the validation you give yourself. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that you don't need anyone else's approval to be worthy. You've always been worthy. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, least of all to yourself. And that's the first step toward reclaiming your life. Let go of the belief that your worth is tied to what others think of you. Stop measuring your success by someone else's standards. What matters is how you feel when you look in the mirror, when you reflect on your journey. Not how many likes or followers you have, not how many trophies you collect. You've been conditioned to think that external validation is the ultimate goal. But the truth is, when you stop chasing it, when you release that need for approval, you open yourself up to something far more powerful, your own self-respect, your own confidence, and your own peace. It's time to break free from that trap. It's time to rediscover the person you were before all the outside noise drowned out your inner voice. It's time to stop living for someone else's idea of success and start living for your own truth. You don't need permission to be who you are. You don't need to prove anything. You've always been enough. And it's time for you to believe that. Stop running. Stop chasing. Start living. Start being. You've been running for years, haven't you? Running, chasing, grinding. The world tells you that you have to keep moving. But if you stop, if you slow down for even a second, you'll fall behind. Your to-do list is endless. Your calendar never stops filling up. And the weight of it all presses down on you. You tell yourself, I'll catch my breath later. There's no time for rest. No time for me. I have people depending on me. I have things to do. And you keep going. You push yourself harder. You pour everything you have into your work, into other people, into responsibilities that never seem to end. You sacrifice your time, your energy, and your peace of mind because you believe it's what you're supposed to do. You believe that if you just keep giving, keep doing, keep showing up, eventually things will fall into place. Eventually, you'll be able to rest. But somewhere deep down, you know it's not working. You know something's off because no matter how much you give, there's always more to do, always another fire to put out. And the one person who gets left behind in all of this, you, your growth, your needs, your well-being. In a world that rewards busy work, it feels almost impossible to take time for yourself. It feels selfish, doesn't it? You've been taught that if you're not constantly hustling, constantly moving, you're falling behind. You've been told that your value is determined by your productivity, that your worth is tied to how much you do for others, how much you give, how much you sacrifice. But what if I told you that taking time for yourself isn't selfish at all? What if I told you that it's the most selfless thing you could do, the most important thing for you and for everyone around you? You're trying to pour from an empty cup, and you wonder why. After all your efforts, you're exhausted, disconnected, and unfulfilled. You've been giving to others, working, helping, doing everything but investing in yourself. You're running on empty. And the sad truth is, you're only going to keep running in circles until you change that. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you truly took a step back for yourself? When did you last take time to learn something new, to care for your body, to nurture your emotions, to grow as a person, not because someone else told you to, not because it was for a job or a task, but simply for you? When was the last time you allowed yourself the space to breathe, to evolve, to become the person you know you could be, if only you gave yourself the chance? It's time to stop buying into the lie that you're not allowed to put yourself first. It's time to stop thinking that your growth doesn't matter. Because when you prioritize your own development, whether it's through education, health, emotional growth, or spiritual healing, everything else starts to shift. When you invest in yourself, you become a stronger, more focused, more present version of who you are. You don't just give to others. You give from a place of abundance, from a place where you have something to offer. But here's the hard truth. You can't give what you don't have. If you've been neglecting your own growth for years, if you've been running on empty, you're not showing up, as the person you could be. And that's not fair to you. And it's not fair to the people who depend on you. Imagine for a moment a version of yourself who has put in the time to heal, to grow, to learn, and to become better. Imagine feeling physically strong, emotionally steady, and mentally sharp. What would that person look like? How would they show up in the world? How would they show up for others? The truth is, when you take time for yourself, it's not just about you. It's about the people you love, the work you do, the things that matter to you. When you invest in your personal growth, you become more effective, more compassionate, more present. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop feeling like you're just surviving, and you start thriving. I know it's hard to make time for yourself. It feels like a luxury when there's so much to do. But it's not. It's a necessity. It's the foundation of everything you want in your life. Without investing in yourself, you'll never be able to give your best to anyone else. Without making your personal growth a priority, everything else starts to fall apart. No matter how hard you try to keep it all together. This is the moment where you get to choose. You can keep going the way you've been going. Stressed, burnt out, running on fumes, or you can start giving yourself the time and space you deserve. You can start saying yes to your own growth. You can start investing in yourself. And in doing so, you'll unlock a whole new world of possibility. It's not selfish. It's necessary. When you take the time to nurture yourself, to grow, to heal, everything changes. Your relationships change. Your work changes. Your sense of purpose changes. And the best part, you don't lose anything by doing it. In fact, you gain everything. This is your invitation to stop living in survival mode. This is your invitation to start living for yourself, not just for everyone else. Because when you grow, when you invest in yourself, everything around you starts to grow too. And that's when the real transformation begins. For years, you've been chasing something. You might not even realize it, but you've been running after an idea of success that was never really yours. You've been taught that success means the money, the job title, the perfect house, the flashy car. You've been told that if you just get these things, everything will fall into place, that you'll be happy, that you'll be respected, that you'll be enough. But here's the thing, it's not enough. You know this deep inside. You feel it in those quiet moments, when you pause, when the rush of life settles just enough for you to hear your own thoughts. You know that the life you're chasing, the life everyone else is chasing, isn't the one that will truly satisfy you. It might give you a fleeting sense of accomplishment, a momentary rush of satisfaction. But deep down, you can feel it. Something is missing. You spent so much time trying to measure up to a definition of success that was handed to you. You've given your time, your energy, your heart to something that isn't even your own. You've been living according to someone else's rules. You've been measuring yourself against a standard that doesn't align with who you are, with what truly matters to you. What if I told you that success doesn't have to look the way society says it does? What if I told you that the money, the status, the power, none of that will ever define the person you are meant to be? For the first time in your life, I want you to imagine a new definition of success, one that's written by you for you. No more comparing yourself to others. No more striving for something that doesn't resonate with your heart. You got to stop measuring your worth by external things, by what others expect from you. You've got to stop chasing a success that leaves you feeling empty. Instead, start asking yourself, what does success truly mean for me? What would a life of fulfillment look like? Maybe success for you isn't about the money in your bank account or the title on your business card. Maybe it's about being able to wake up each day and feel peace in your heart, knowing that you're doing what feels right. Maybe it's about living authentically, without pretending to be someone you're not. Maybe it's about finding joy in the little things, quality time with loved ones, pursuing passions that light you up, making a difference in the lives of others, or simply being content with where you are. It's not about accumulating more, but about shedding what doesn't serve you. It's about focusing on what you really want, rather than what you've been told to want. It's about building a life that's aligned with your own values, not the ones that society has instilled in you. But here's the catch. The shift isn't easy. It's not going to be some instant, magical transformation. It requires you to face your own fears, to break free from the expectations that have been placed on you, to step into your truth even when it feels uncomfortable. You'll face doubt. You'll wonder if you're doing the right thing. You'll question if you're crazy for walking away from what everyone else is doing. But I want you to know something. The moment you start living for yourself, the moment you stop measuring your worth against other people's standards, you'll feel something shift deep inside. You'll feel freedom. You'll feel the weight lift off your shoulders. And you'll start living in a way that feels true, authentic, and fulfilling. When you redefine success on your own terms, you're no longer enslaved by the opinions of others. You're no longer bound by the chains of what's expected of you. You get to decide what matters. And that's powerful. You get to decide what makes you feel whole, what makes you feel proud, what makes you feel at peace with your life. And when you live in alignment with your own definition of success, everything else starts to fall into place. It's not about being perfect. It's not about achieving every goal or meeting every expectation. Success is a deeply personal journey, and it's going to look different for everyone. For some, it might mean creating a career that brings joy and purpose. For others, it might mean being present with family or pursuing a hobby that brings them peace. And for others still, it might mean simply finding contentment in the quiet moments of life, when there's no pressure to succeed by anyone else's standards. And here's the truth. The more you let go of external expectations, the more you begin to connect with your own heart and your own desires, the more deeply fulfilled you'll feel. You'll stop feeling like you're chasing something that's always just out of reach. You'll stop feeling like a hamster on a wheel, running but never getting anywhere. You'll start to live a life that's intentional, grounded, and true to who you really are. This is where the real transformation happens. It's when you finally give yourself permission to succeed your way, to live life on your terms, to define your own path, to follow what feels right for you, not what someone else tells you is right. That's when you'll experience peace, contentment, and the kind of fulfillment that can never be measured by external standards. I know this is hard. I know that living in a world that constantly tells you what success should look like can make you doubt yourself. But I also know that if you keep chasing someone else's version of success, you will always feel like something is missing. You will always feel like you're running after something that can never quite be caught. So it's time to stop. It's time to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what does success mean to me? Not to anyone else, but to you. Define it, own it, and then live it. Because when you do, you'll start to feel something that's been missing for too long, fulfillment. Not the fleeting kind that comes from external achievements, but the kind that fills you up from the inside. The kind that lets you know that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you were meant to do. This is your life. This is your journey. You get to define success. And once you do, everything else will fall into place. How many times have you said yes when every part of your body, every corner of your mind screamed no? How many times have you found yourself stretched too thin, your energy drained, your mind cluttered with the weight of commitments that never truly felt right? You've been taught that saying yes is the way to go. You've been conditioned to believe that success, love, friendship, and respect all come from agreeing to everything. Saying yes to work, to favors, to requests from friends and family. It's like a badge of honor, a signal that you're reliable, responsible, and always willing to help. But somewhere along the way, you lost yourself in all those yeses. You forgot what it means to take care of yourself, to protect your time, to prioritize your well-being. And now, here you are, exhausted, burnt out, feeling like you've given everything and received nothing in return. You've given so much to others. But who's been there for you? Who has stepped in to say no on your behalf when you've been drowning in obligations that don't align with who you are or where you want to go? Here's the harsh truth. Your time is not limitless, and your energy is precious. When you keep saying yes to everything and everyone, you're draining yourself. And what's left when you give everything away? Empty space. It's the space between your desires and your reality, the space between who you want to be and who you're becoming, because you've overextended yourself. But what if I told you that the most powerful thing you could do for yourself right now is to start saying no? The thought probably feels foreign, doesn't it? Saying no feels selfish, doesn't it? We've all been taught that to be a good person, to be valuable, we need to please others. We need to say yes to opportunities, to requests, to expectations. We've been taught that our worth is tied to how much we can give, how much we can do. But here's the thing, constantly overextending yourself leaves you disconnected from what really matters. It takes you away from your passions, your goals, your dreams. It makes you so busy that you forget what it's like to just breathe. When you're constantly saying yes to the world, you start saying no to yourself. Think about it. When was the last time you said no without guilt? When was the last time you put yourself first without the fear of disappointing someone else? The last time you took a step back and protected your own boundary. Saying no is not about being selfish. It's about being wise. It's about recognizing that you can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay. It's about choosing what really matters to you, your health, your time, your relationships, and saying no to anything that doesn't align with those values. And here's the beauty of it. When you start saying no, you open up space for things that actually serve you. You give yourself permission to focus on what's important, what brings you joy, what helps you grow. You stop living on autopilot, driven by the needs and demands of others, and start living intentionally, guided by your own values, goals, and desires. I know it's not easy. I know the guilt weighs heavy. I know that when you say no, it can feel like you're letting someone down, like you're being a bad person. But let me ask you this. What good are you to anyone else if you're burned out, frustrated, and unhappy? What good are you to your family, your friends, or your work if you have nothing left to give? Saying no is not a rejection of others. It's a commitment to your own well-being. It's a reminder that you matter too. And here's where the shift happens. When you start saying no, you start respecting yourself. You start valuing your own time and energy. You stop letting other people's priorities take precedence over your own. And the more you say no, the stronger your boundaries become. And the more you can say yes to the things that really matter. It's time to stop apologizing for choosing yourself. It's time to stop feeling guilty for saying no. You have the right to say no to things that drain you, to people who take more than they give, to opportunities that don't align with your goal. You have the right to say no to anything that pulls you away from the person you are meant to be. And when you do, you'll start to feel something shift inside of you, a sense of freedom, a sense of peace. You'll start to feel like you're no longer at the mercy of everyone else's expectations. You'll start to feel like you're in control of your own life again. This isn't about being selfish. It's about self-care. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. Saying no isn't a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of yourself. It's saying, I matter. My needs matter. My time matters. And when you start saying no without guilt, you'll see that the world doesn't fall apart. In fact, it gets better because you'll start saying yes to the things that truly matter, the things that help you grow, the things that bring you joy. The moment you start saying no is the moment you take back control of your life. It's the moment you stop living for others and start living for yourself. It's the moment you start protecting your peace, your energy, and your time. And that is the beginning of a life lived on your own terms. So how often do you catch yourself waiting for someone else's approval? How many times have you looked to others for validation, wondering if your efforts are enough, if your choices are right, if you're truly worthy of respect? It's a silent struggle, isn't it? You try to make your mark, try to push through life's challenges, but you feel this nagging sense that something's missing. You're chasing the next compliment, the next acknowledgement, the next pat on the back. It's like you need this constant reassurance from the outside world that you're doing okay, that you're enough. And when you don't get it, you start questioning yourself. You begin to feel small. Your sense of worth shrinks, and that fire within you that once burned so brightly starts to flicker. But what if I told you that the approval you've been seeking from others is actually standing in the way of your true confidence? What if I told you that the very thing you've been searching for outside of yourself is something you already possess inside? You've been taught to look outside for answers. You've been taught that success, self-worth, and confidence come from the praise and approval of others. But that's not real confidence. Real confidence doesn't come from compliment. It doesn't come from winning awards, receiving accolades, or getting likes on social media. Real confidence comes from something deeper. It comes from trusting yourself. It comes from the quiet knowing that you are enough without anyone else telling you so. It comes from standing tall, even when no one is watching. It comes from looking at yourself in the mirror, knowing that you are worthy of everything you've ever dreamed of, no matter what anyone else thinks. Think about the moments when you felt the most proud of yourself. Were they the moments when someone else told you that you had done a good job? Or were they the moments when you felt deep inside that you gave your best, that you pushed through your doubts and fears, that you made a choice for yourself that aligned with who you truly are? Those moments of pride are when your confidence came from within, not from others. And yet, here you are, constantly searching for validation, constantly wondering if you're good enough, constantly waiting for someone else to tell you that you've made it, that you're worth something. It's exhausting, isn't it? You're running on someone else's approval, constantly chasing something that's just out of reach. And when you get it, it feels good for a second, but then it slips away, leaving you empty, ready to chase the next bit of validation. It's time to stop the chase. It's time to stop looking outward for the confidence that only comes from within. It's time to stop waiting for someone else's permission to believe in yourself. Building inner confidence means learning to trust yourself, trusting your decisions, your abilities, and your worth, regardless of what others think. It means standing firm in your choices, even when there's no one to applaud you, even when the world is silent. It's about looking inside and realizing that the validation you've been craving is already there, locked away inside you. You don't need to earn it. You just need to recognize it. I know this is hard. It's not easy to stop seeking approval, especially when you've been taught your whole life that your worth is defined by others. But the truth is, no one else can define your worth for you. No one else can tell you what you're capable of, what you deserve, or how much you matter. That's a decision only you can make. When you stop relying on external approval, you free yourself from the chains of comparison. You stop measuring yourself against other people's standards. And that's when the real transformation begins. Because when you learn to trust yourself, you realize that you are capable of achieving everything you've ever wanted. Not because someone else says you can, but because you believe that you can. You don't need anyone else's validation to know that you're worthy of success, of love, of happiness. You already have everything you need within you. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I fail? What if I make the wrong decision? And I get it. The fear of failure can be paralyzing. But here's the thing. True confidence isn't about never failing. It's about trusting yourself enough to try, knowing that failure doesn't diminish your worth. Failure is a part of the journey, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't take away your value. What defines you is your ability to keep going, to trust yourself, to believe in your potential, no matter what happens along the way. It's about knowing that even when the world doesn't approve, you're still standing tall. You're still showing up for yourself. You're still moving forward, not because of anyone else's opinion, but because of the belief you have in your own abilities. This is the kind of confidence that will carry you through life's toughest moments. This is the kind of confidence that will help you make decisions that align with your true self. This is the kind of confidence that will allow you to walk into a room, into any situation, and know that you belong there. Not because you've been given permission, but because you give yourself permission to be there. And when you build that inner confidence, you'll notice something incredible. The world will start to treat you differently, not because you're seeking their approval, but because you're no longer giving your power away. When you believe in yourself, when you trust yourself, you stop needing others to validate you. You stop seeking outside approval, and as a result, people start respecting you for who you truly are. You begin to attract the opportunities and relationships that align with your inner strength, because they see that you are secure in yourself. They see that you are not afraid to stand on your own. This is the breakthrough. When you stop relying on the approval of others, you unlock a level of self-assurance that nothing on the outside can shake. You realize that the most important opinion, the one that truly matters, is your own. Once you trust yourself, once you believe in your own worth, you will start to see the world in a whole new light. Your confidence will no longer be fragile, dependent on the praise of others. It will be strong, unwavering, and rooted in the truth of who you are. And that, my friend, is the kind of confidence that will carry you through anything life throws at you. Failure. It's a word that sends a chill through your body, isn't it? The thought of it alone is enough to make your heart race, your palms sweat, and your mind spiral into 100 different directions. We've all been there. The fear of failure has stopped you from trying, has held you back from pursuing the things you really want. It's made you second-guess your decisions, question your worth, and wonder if you're even capable of succeeding. You've been taught that failure is something to avoid at all costs, something to hide from, something that means you're not good enough, not worthy enough, not capable enough. But what if I told you that failure isn't the enemy? What if I told you that failure is actually the greatest teacher you'll ever have? You've been conditioned to think that success is a straight line, a path that you walk with ease, free from setbacks or obstacles. You've been told that if you're good enough, if you try hard enough, you'll never fail. But deep down, you know that's not true. You've felt the sting of failure before. You failed in ways that cut deep, that left you wondering if it was all worth it. And in those moments, you probably asked yourself, why even bother? But here's the truth. Failure is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. The truth is, failure is an essential part of growth. It's the rough patch on the road that teaches you more than any success ever could. It's the moment that forces you to look at yourself, to face your weaknesses, your doubts, and your limitations. It's the moment that forces you to dig deep, to find strength you never knew you had, and to come back stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next challenge. When you fail, you are not less. You are more. You are more because you have learned. You've learned what doesn't work. You've learned where your weaknesses lie, where your resilience needs to grow. You've learned how to pivot, how to adapt, how to get back up when life knocks you down. That knowledge, that wisdom is priceless. It's something you can't get from success alone. Think about the times you've felt truly alive, truly proud of yourself. Has it been the times when everything was smooth and easy? Or has it been the times when you faced something difficult, something that pushed you beyond what you thought you were capable of? Has it been when you took the hard path, when you fought through the struggle, when you got knocked down and got back up? I'm not here to tell you that failure feels good. It doesn't. It stings. It hurts. It knocks the wind out of you. But that's what makes it so powerful. It's in those painful moments that you find out who you really are. It's in those moments that you realize you have a choice. You can stay down or you can rise. You can let failure define you, or you can use it to redefine yourself. I know it's not easy. I know how tempting it is to avoid failure at all costs. I know how much you want to be seen as perfect, to be seen as successful, to avoid the shame and embarrassment that comes with not getting it right. But here's something I want you to understand. Nobody is perfect. Nobody gets everything right on the first try. Not the people you admire, not the people who seem to have it all together, and definitely not the ones who make it look easy. Everyone has failed. And the only difference between those who succeed and those who don't is their ability to keep going after failure. You see, failure isn't the end, it's just the beginning. It's a redirection, a signpost that tells you where to go next. The real question is, how will you respond? Will you let failure take away your confidence, your courage, your drive, or will you let it fuel your fire, push you to keep going, teach you the lessons you need to learn? Think about the moments when you faced a failure and then pushed through anyway. Maybe it was something small, like failing at a task or missing a goal. Or maybe it was something big, something that shook you to your core. But no matter what the failure was, it was an opportunity for you to decide who you were going to be in that moment. Would you shrink back, or would you stand tall, learn from it, and move forward with even more determination than before? That's the power of failure. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you how to get back up. It teaches you how to turn pain into progress. When you embrace failure as a part of your journey, you stop fearing it. And when you stop fearing it, you unlock your true potential. You give yourself permission to try, to fail, and to grow without the crippling fear of what might happen. Failure no longer becomes a reflection of your worth. It becomes a stepping stone, a necessary part of your growth. Each failure is a piece of the puzzle. Each setback, a lesson that will take you closer to your goal. And when you look at it that way, you realize that failure doesn't define you. It refines you. It shapes you into someone who is more capable, more knowledgeable, and more powerful than you were before. So I want you to stop running from failure. Stop avoiding it. Stop fearing it. And stop letting it control you. Start embracing it. Start seeing it for what it truly is. A gift, a tool, a teacher that will guide you toward the success you've been searching for all along. The next time you fail, don't run. Don't hide. Don't let it paralyze you. Stand tall, look it in the eye and say, I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm becoming who I was meant to be. You're stronger than you realize. And every failure, every setback, every struggle is just another chance for you to prove it to yourself. Because in the end, success isn't defined by how many times you win. It's defined by how many times you rise after falling. How many times have you found yourself sitting at your desk, staring at the clock, knowing you've given everything you have, physically, mentally, emotionally, yet still feel like it's not enough? How many hours have you poured into your work, sacrificing your personal time, your relationships, your health, all in the name of success? You tell yourself just a little more time, just a little more effort, and then I'll rest. But when that moment comes, it feels like it's never enough. You're constantly chasing the next goal, the next promotion, the next milestone, never quite able to catch your breath. For so long, we've been told that this is the price of success. We've been taught that in order to make it, in order to prove our worth, we have to put work above all else. Our personal lives, our happiness, our well-being, they come second. We sacrifice sleep, time with family, self-care, all in the name of getting ahead. We push ourselves to the brink, thinking that one day it will pay off. One day when we reach the top, we'll be able to rest. But somewhere along the way, you start to realize that this sacrifice isn't just costing you time. It's costing you everything. You're giving so much of yourself. And for what? So that you can climb a ladder that never ends. So that you can be successful in a way that leaves you empty, exhausted, and disconnected from the very things that matter most. You've been living in imbalance for so long that you don't even recognize it anymore. You don't remember what it feels like to have time for yourself, to truly enjoy the moments that make life worth living. Your work has consumed you. It's all you know. And yet, deep inside, you know something isn't right. You feel it in your bones, the weariness, the disconnect, the longing for something more. You've been told that this is the price you have to pay, but you've come to realize that the cost is too high. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it all for? What are you working so hard for if you're missing out on life itself? What's the point of climbing a ladder if it only leads to exhaustion and disconnection? The truth is, success isn't about sacrificing your life for your work. It's about finding a balance, a harmony between both, so that you can live fully. Restoring that balance isn't easy. You've been conditioned to believe that work is everything, that your worth is tied to your productivity. But let me tell you something. Your worth is not determined by how much you can work, how much you can achieve, or how much you can sacrifice. Your worth is inherent, and it's time to start living in a way that reflects that truth. The key to success isn't imbalance. It's harmony. It's about understanding that your career, your work, your success is only one part of who you are. It's about realizing that your personal life, your health, your relationships, your joy, they are just as important. When you create a life that honors both your work and your well-being, that's when you truly begin to live. It's time to stop viewing your personal life as something that gets in the way of your career. It's time to stop seeing self-care as a luxury, something you'll get to when you have time. The truth is, you will never have time unless you make it. You will never have the energy to give your best at work if you don't take care of yourself first. You will never feel fulfilled in your career if you neglect the relationships, the passions, and the experiences that make life rich and meaningful. When you restore balance, you stop living for the next achievement and start living for the present moment. You start giving your full attention to the things that matter, your health, your relationships, your passions, and you do so without guilt. You stop feeling like you have to choose between your career and your happiness. You realize that they can coexist, that you can have both. This doesn't mean that you don't work hard. It doesn't mean that you don't strive for success or pursue your goals with passion. It means that you approach your life from a place of balance, not burnout. It means that you prioritize your well-being, your peace of mind, your joy, alongside your career. It means that you give yourself permission to rest, to recharge, to be present with the people you love, and to enjoy the moments that make life beautiful. But here's the hard part. It's not going to happen overnight. Restoring balance is a process, and it's one that requires intentionality and discipline. You'll have to challenge the beliefs you've held for so long. The idea that work must come first. The idea that you have to be constantly productive. The idea that your worth is determined by your output. You'll have to redefine what success means to you so that it reflects the life you want to live, not the life that society tells you to live. And that's when the transformation happens. When you start living from a place of balance, you begin to feel something you've been missing for so long. Peace. You start to feel connected to yourself, to your work, and to the people around you. You start to feel more present, more fulfilled, more at peace with where you are. You stop chasing something that feels elusive, and you start enjoying the life you've already created. The beauty of balance is that it gives you the freedom to live fully. It gives you the freedom to pursue your dreams without sacrificing your happiness. It gives you the freedom to achieve success without losing yourself in the process. It gives you the freedom to be your best self at work, at home, and in every moment in between. You don't have to choose between work and life. You can have both. But you have to make a conscious decision to restore that balance. You have to make a decision to live in harmony with your goals and your well-being. And when you do, you'll discover a sense of peace and fulfillment that no job title, no promotion, no paycheck could ever provide. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about how much you achieve, it's about how much you live.